Okay, this is the second part to the two-part series here where I did a pros and cons video on AnyType. Now I'm about to walk through the actual app and kind of show you how you get started and then a few things when you're in the app. And as I did in the other video, I do some comparisons with capacities. So first off, when you open up the app or download the app and open it, then you need to set up a new vault. So if you never used AnyType before, you're going to have to do a new vault. This is the screen you're presented with, and you can see it's a local first solution here, which if that's one of your things, then this will be just similar to like an Obsidian, where your data gets stored local first, and then you have the option to whether you want to sync it or not. So we can come in here, and one thing to note that's somewhat hidden, like when I first started, this little gear symbol over here allows you to change what type of vault you have and the actual syncing mechanism. So when you open it up, you can change the language here. You can change the network type. So if you use AnyType, you can actually have it back up to the AnyType network, is what they're calling it here. And if you don't want that and you only want your information to be local, you can come in here and change that to local only, and then pick a location of where you want it. There's even an option for a self-hosted setup. So if you want to install your own server for AnyType and manage everything completely, even the kind of that syncing process, you can create your own servers and do that. I haven't played around with the self-hosting at all, so I won't talk any about that, but you can go on their Discord and go to their documentation, and there's more information on how you can use that. Right now it seems, from at least what I see in the community, that setup can be a little bit complex. This one here, I'm going to go ahead and set it up to the AnyType network, and we'll change this location. Let's see if I put it there. We can change the location of the vault. See, I have it in my documents. We'll go ahead and save it, and I will create a new vault. Now you saw if you have your own vault, or when you create a vault and then later on for some reason maybe you move to a new computer or something and you need to set up a new vault, you can just come in there and you can click the option where you say I have a key, and then you put your key in there. Now let's go ahead and do new vault. We're going to go ahead and create an encryption key. So you do have end-to-end encryption with this solution. You own the actual keys, so you don't have to worry about anything going to any outside servers and them being able to see your data, because everything's encrypted and you're the only one with the keys, unless of course you're sharing some information through their sharing feature. Now I can come in here and I can show the key, or I can copy it from here on the side. And if you're setting this up for your permanent use, you better copy the actual encryption key and then store that somewhere in your password manager or somewhere that's safe where you can get to it again. We'll go ahead and skip through this. I've already made a copy of it and I've saved that off to the side. I'm going to actually delete this one anyway, so I could show you the key, but there's no need to right now. So let's go ahead and give this a name, and we'll just call it Lab Home. We'll say enter my vault, and then you're greeted with onboarding type messages of where your space is, objects, a welcome letter, and some stuff here in the side pane that you can do, the gallery views. Yeah, and that's pretty much it from what they had. The onboarding is pretty short and to the point, so you don't have to worry about wading through a bunch of going over here and going over there like some apps will do to you. So now that we're in here, we can see that we have a simple page that's set up, and if you want to get back to your vault, basically you have to go into the AnyType icon and go into the settings, and then when you're in the settings you need to go into the vault. Now there are settings for the vault, and then there's settings for your spaces, which goes into the vault. So just be aware that of those two distinctions, so when you're looking for something to set up, that you go to the right place. So let's go into the vault settings here, and here we can give it put your name in here. You can give some words about yourself. You have this AnyType identification right here, and then you can get to the preferences for this space, or this vault I should say. So spell check, English, interface, English. You can get into some of the editor type things, and these are some of the default things that will happen when you're using the application. So like open objects in full screen might be something that you want to actually change. And what happens when you open up an object, it typically will pop up in this little kind of pop-up window here instead of going full screen. You can change that if you want to. Display relevant dates. Let me see, link to object styles. So when you're putting up links or setting links in your documents, you can change the default look for these here. I think you can actually change this once you click on the block for these type of links once you're there. And then you have some other things here that you can do for those. Let me see, automatically show hide. You can automatically show and hide. You can kind of see how that disappeared in the background there. And then sidebar mode, you got widgets, or you can do the space. So right now it's only showing it'll only show the widgets in that left sidebar. If I hit spaces, it'll give us the actual space. So that way it's actually a little bit quicker to jump around from different spaces if you have a bunch of those. But if you don't, then maybe you just want to keep it on the wizard one, the widget one, and just see that one space, and you don't mind going through the actual a few more clicks to get to a different space. And then show AnyType in the system tray is there. Now you can come in here and you can set up your default color mode. You have a dark mode, and it's a pretty dark mode, and you can also have it set up for the system where it changes automatically. We'll keep that in light mode there. And then you can set up an actual PIN code. So when you open up your app, by default, it doesn't prompt you for any kind of password or anything to get into it. So if you're logged in, someone comes behind you and sits down and opens up to the app, it will just let them in because you've already logged onto your computer. This PIN code will prompt for an actual PIN for you to get in, similar to if you're on a mobile application and you lock it. So yeah, you can set that up. We can come in here and basically you just go ahead and you put a number in there and you just repeat that number. We can come in here and turn it off. We can update the code. Then PIN code check timeout, we can have it so depending on how long you're away from this here, it will actually time out and then force you to put in a PIN code. We have spaces, so all your spaces will get listed here. Right now we only have one. This is also considered like your entry space or the main space. If you're going to share data, you'll see that this main space will be called that. I think it changes in here to where it notes it as your main space or entry point. Then all the other spaces will show up like shared spaces if you share those spaces. Data management, you can come in here and see the local files, the location or where the data is located here and being stored. You can delete this vault. You have a place to see your key. If you're going to, I guess if you forget your key and you're still logged in on your computer, you can always come back in here and get it. And also if you're logging in from another device like on your mobile phone, you can come in here and you can use the QR code to easily add your mobile device. If you have that key available to you, you can still use the key when you're setting up your mobile device, but in this case you can use the QR code as well. And then you can come in here and you can see what type of membership you have. There are a couple of different tiers here. There is the free forever membership. You can click on the membership plan details to get more information. I think by default you'll get on the free plan 1 gig of backup storage through the AnyType network, and you're limited on, I think it's 3 spaces and 3 modifiers or editors within your within the location there. Actually, let's go ahead and click on it. We'll take a look at what that looks like. So yeah, 1 gig of network space, 3 shared spaces, and 3 space members per space. So that's pretty simple. Then if you go into the other tiers here, you're obviously paying a little bit more, but you're getting some more storage and you're getting more spaces or more editors in there, unlimited viewers. So yeah, just check out which tier might work out for you if you need more and you're working with a team. One thing to note here too is that, like I'm on mine, I'm a I forget what they call it, but basically an early adopter where I opted into this a while ago, and I was a beta user and technically still a beta user because this is in beta. So I get 10 gigs of network space. Not bragging, but for me that actually I think would be more than enough to at least start off with. The 1 gig, I'm not so sure on for people who might be storing a lot of data in here and wants it to be backed up. If you do run out of space, you don't have to worry about not being able to put in information in here. It'll just stay on your local computer and will not get backed up to the AnyType network. All right, so let's go out of this here and let's go into the space settings, and we can see what that looks like. So this is the space settings. You have the name here. You can come in here and change that name. We can see it's encrypted, and it is your entry space, as I was mentioning before. And right now it says sharing. I am not sharing, but if I do click on that sharing option, it prompts me to create another space specific for sharing. I think this is pretty good because you actually get to, you kind of know what you're actually sharing with people versus having a mix of things shared and not shared within the same environment. So if you're really conscious about security and what data is getting out there, then this is a pretty good option. You can create it from scratch, or you can import some stuff within this space. I'll go ahead and click out of there. You also get to see what your remote storage usage is. As I mentioned before, we have this 1 gig. You can come in here and you can manage any files that will get stored in here. So if you need to delete anything, you can go in there and do that. You can set up your home page options. Default object type, you can set up what those are, and then you have some import and export options there, and then some space information. So this is all fine and dandy, pretty good things that you want to have within the app that you can go in here and you can configure and set up. Especially the import is pretty good and fast. If you are coming from another option or solution that has markdown files, this works pretty well, but they also support multiple different formats that you can import in here. So if you're coming from Notion, you can do that, or Obsidian, you can actually use the markdown option here. And they also have an any block option here. So if you're doing an export, this gives you an option to back up to this AnyType backup format to make it easier for you if you just want to do a point-in-time backup of your entire space. So this works out pretty well. Or you can also migrate out to, or export out to Markdown if you want to move your information into a different system like Obsidian. All right, so we will go out of here and let me see. Let's just go do a quick walkthrough here just to give you the basics here. And then what I'll do is I'll open up my vault in one of my spaces and we can kind of see how that is set up and some of the stuff that you can do there. So right now we have the basic formatting that you would typically get from a note-taking app or PKM system, where you have your blocks that you can do headings, you can do call outs, you can do quotes, you can do bullets, you can do tasks, to-dos, so on and so forth. There's a lot of different options here, and if you click on the / command, you'll get a huge set of options of what you can do for formatting your pages and your documents in here and what you can put in these blocks. They support a lot of different things, as I mentioned: media, files, images, video, bookmarks, mermaid. There's just a huge list of things that's supported here, which again I think this is goes above and beyond what I would expect from a solution like this that's in beta. And if you're comparing this with Obsidian, I would say that this is probably a lot more things in here that's supported than you would get from Obsidian. Now, whether you use all these or not can be debated, but it's always good to have the tool available to you when you need it. We can come in here, we can see we can do tables, we have inline collections, we have sets that we'll actually get into later. You can add links, and then they get into some of the different object types that they have set up by default in the system. You can see the relations, so you can even add the relations to the actual block, so you can see those in here as well. If we go into the getting started page, it's pretty blank here. One other thing to cover is you can do a cover image here. You can change the icons that you might be using in here, and you can change the layout. So each of your your pages can be set up, or your object types can be set up to have a default layout, and you can come in here and change this stuff as well. So it's pretty flexible on what you can do. So your basic one gives you this basic type of page that you would have with the banner going across. If you do a profile, you can actually come in here and it changes up the look a little bit, so that if you're doing a page for that supports a person, you can put their image in and it kind of gives it that look. If you're doing an action where you have some kind of task or project or something like that, then you can change the layout for that. And then if you have note, it just changes it to this plain looking note format. Right up here at the top right is where you get some options to set up and configure your relations for this particular page. So you can see all the ones that are already here and that are already set up. You can add new ones in here if you want, and you can also star some of these. So like let's star that one there, and the ones that are starred will show up here at that top level of the note or page, so that you can see it pretty easy. Then if we go over here to the three dots, you can do some other things here. We can create a widget from this here. You can add it to favorites, lock the object, do some linking, use it as a template, and version control is another one here where you can actually start you can restore from an older version, something that you don't get from Capacities right now. So, and then you can come through here, you can duplicate, you can delete it, you can copy its link and then paste that somewhere else if you want to have things linked to it. And then you can either print or export these. If you export, you get the option for Markdown, their AnyType or their AnyBlock format, and then PDF. You can change the size of those in the PDF setup, whether it's in landscape or you're getting the background, some options for Markdown here, and then the AnyBlock, some options here that you can do if you're picking those options. You do get a map or a graph view that you can come in here and take a look at. If you come up to the top here, when you're of this graph view, you get some options from, there's a different icon. It's not that three dots like you had before. You get the search in here, and you also get this these levers type of icon there, and you can come in here and you can change the different things that you see within this graph. You can also change how deep the level is with the connections between different objects. So if you want to just go ahead and increase that out, depending on the object, you'll get more information, things that are connected to all the other ancillary things that just keeps branching out if you have those connections. And then here at the bottom you have this menu bar going back and forth. I still get confused here, where if I want to go, if I'm in a page, so let's go back here, I'm always going up to the top corner to try to go back, and it just throws me off a lot. Now if I'm on a mobile phone, this works out well because it's at the bottom, and with phones being so big these days, having the navigation at the bottom help. But on the desktop, this could be confusing for most people. You can come in here and you can add a new object within the settings that we had saw in the on the Vault side. This is where that default is a page right now. You can change this to any other type and to be the default. But if you don't like this page at the moment when you're doing it, you can come in here and you can change this right here. So you're not stuck or locked in to the object type. Once you have it, you can come in here and you can change the object types for any object that you have in here. Let me see if we come in here and we open up. So I changed that to a task, and when I open that up, let's go back there again. Task, open set of tasks. The set is really just a collection of the same object type. So if I come in here and I open up that set, it will show me all the object types with task, no matter where they're at within this vault or this space. So you can have tasks in multiple different places, docs, pages, whatever, and then they will all aggregate here. And from here you can start doing filters and changing up the views, and yeah, it's really extensive on what you can do once you have these collections in this particular database type of setup. Now with no data in here, it's going to be a little hard to show some of these features, so I'm going to go ahead and switch over into my my vault, and then we can see at least some data as we're going through this. Okay, so we're here at my my actual space, and I'm on the main home page here, as we can see. And we can see on the side here that I have some sets and some objects, collections that are set up over here, some favorites, recently edited, journals, and then a tracker widget, along with the bin here set up on this side here. Now these are all widgets, is what they're calling them. One recent change that I noticed is that they expand all the widgets by default now, and really hope they change that back so that they start up in a collapsed state instead of being by default opened up and expanded every time. If you want to add in additional widgets here, you just come in here and you can say, hey, I want to add in say books, and then it will show you those, and then you can actually come in here and you can either collapse it. You can come in here and add a book from there. It makes it a lot quicker. I'll go ahead and delete that one, and you can see here that it's set up to show based on my default set that I have set up. So right now this view, if I went to my sets and I clicked on books, you can see it's set up similar to where it's showing this grid view, and it's also showing the book icon in full mode. So in here I only have this one view. You can come in here and you can set up multiple views, and you have many different types of layouts that you can choose from, and much more than you do with capacities. So you can come in here, you can do a grid, you can do a gallery, you can do a list, you have Kanban, you have a calendar as well, which is good, works well for tasks. And then you also have a graph view in here too. So these are the 6 ones that are here, and depending on the object type, you may not get all 6, but these are all the options that are available to you if you have the right object type. You can come in here. Let's go into settings. If we come into the settings here for some of these here, they're all different. So the one for the graph looks just like it did when we clicked here into the graph, and we got these options to toggle on and off different elements there. We go into the calendar, we can change the date relation. Right now it's set up for tag. We can either show or hide an icon. We can change that. If we go into Kanban, we can come in here. We have where we can show the cover. If we don't want that, we can take that off. And I'm only affecting the view right now that we have here. So if I want to do another one here, if I do the cover, and I can come in here and change the way that image looks. So right now it says fit media. I can change that to not fit media. We can see what that looks like. We can do group by. We can do color columns, which is right here, which changes the colors there. We can show the icon. So right now we have this little icon here shown by the name of the object. We can turn that off. And again, you can just come in here and you can kind of set this up, all these different views, the way you want them. And this is really flexible. So you can also show the page limit here. If you reach a page limit, there's typically a page nation at the bottom where you can kind of scroll through the different pages. You have a list view. The list view, really all you get is you can just show the icon or not, and the gallery view, similar to what you had in Kanban view, where if I want to have the card size change to small, I can change that. We can change those to large, see what those look like. We'll put them back to small. We have the cover. If I change that from fit to basically just fill, I turn off the fit media, then that's what it looks like. And again, I can add icons, or I can change the page nation on there. And then you have the grid view, and again, the only thing, this one is adding that icon on there. If we go out of the layout, we can show the actual relations. So let's go here. Let's show relation. And if we come in here, I can turn off the author. I can turn off showing the tag, or I can add the tag. I can do the actual object type and put that in there. So it's pretty flexible on what you can show here in your view. And then you can come in here and you can even add filters. And these are multi-layered level filters. So like if I want to do author and do let's say is empty, right? So we got one here that's where the author is empty, or has all of, let me see, all of, and then let's choose, let's put Thomas in there. Oh, there we go. And then we can see those there. We got two of them with them. And then also you can come in and put in another filter in there to again hone in on what type of information you want to see in this particular view. I'll go ahead and remove that. And then you can come in here and you can sort as well. So the sorting options, you have this, we have the initial sort. We can come in here, we can put another one in here if we wanted to, then sort by author. Yeah, this I really love this database that they have set up, and you can do this inline, and you can also have these sets that are set up here that gets you into the particular objects, like this one here. I got books, I got work out there, I got some journals where I use the calendar view, the tasks that are here, we got pages, and there's just some other ones here. We got people that we can come in here and see, and getting your information in here. I think I mentioned it earlier, but if you're doing some imports, the import really does a great job of pulling data in here, where you can do bulk imports that you don't get from Capacities today. So that's kind of a plus. The UI, the look and feel overall is somewhat, it's not that modern, and it looks a little weird. You can come in here and you can customize some things on the view and what things look like, but overall you're kind of stuck with this particular view. So if this doesn't entice you, the look and feel of this, then you might need to look for something else. If we go into, let's see if we can go into what else we got. Let's go into pages, and do I have a page we can look at? See if we have a page that has more information here. Not really. To get started. Some information. I already showed, I guess, the basic stuff that you can do with these anyway. They do have some themes, or I think some examples on their website where you can get inspired by what others have done. This table, I do like this table that they have. It's nice, it's interactive. You can kind of move things around. It's easy to add different rows and columns to this table. This is pretty nice. I can come in here and delete things. I can actually do a lot of good formatting options here with colors, background styles. Most of the stuff that I've seen in here is well thought out, and you get a lot of functionality of what you can do. So when they say this can be the everything app, while that might be an ambitious statement, there are a lot of things you can do with this particular application, similar to what you can do with Notion. So if you want to try this app out, I encourage you to kind of just jump in and start doing things, setting things up and configuring stuff. And I think while there is a learning curve to this, I think if you give it at least a week, you should be able to figure everything out, and then figure out how you're going to take advantage of the wide range of options and things that you can do with this particular app. If you want to set up a set, like a new set, you can come in here and just click that button there, and you pick which object you want to have in here. Remember, sets will only have either the one object or an actual relation. So I can come in here and put in a relation. I can say it has to have an artist tag on relation on the object, and then anything with that will show up in this list. So like if I come in here and say, let's delete this one, and we'll put, I think author could be one. Yeah, author. And this right now, it shows all authors. But even though you have all the authors in here, what you do have is you can come in here and you can do searches on every author, and then filter out some of the things that you want to see by going into the filters here, and then adding a filter for something based on the name or a tag or anything like that there, to get this particular set configured the way you want it to only show the data or the information that you want. So you can be as broad or as narrow as you think you need to be, or as you can get based on the information you have in here. Now collections are another thing, and they're a little bit more like folders. So if you come into a collection, you can see I have a note object in here, and if I go back, I have a task object in here. I can come in here and I can put, you know, another object that's a page object type. So within a collection, you can kind of mix and match different things that are seemingly unrelated, but they might be related to, say, like if this is a project, and then you need to have different type of objects in there, and that's the relation or the key that brings them together. You also see some markdown import here. So that, like this one here was one where I did all these 60 more are there where I imported. It doesn't show me the total number here, but I imported I think it was over 200 files from Obsidian, markdown files into here, and it did it really quick. Yeah, I can't mention the bulk import enough. So getting your data in here, you're not forced to do it one at a time. And I kind of get that feeling when I go over into Capacities that I have to enter everything in one at a time. So if I'm coming from another platform or a solution, then that information is harder to get that information to come with me. So that's pretty much the gist of what you get out of here. If you come into the all objects area here, they have a different view where you can sort through pages, lists, media. You can kind of see different things here. That this is fairly new within the different updates. So browse around this app, you'll figure out how to use it, and yeah, I would say just give it a good shot. The learning curve is a little bit higher than some of the others, but I think it's not so high that you wouldn't be able to figure things out. With that said, I'm going to end the video here. If you found value from this, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And until the next time, have a nice day.